This is the Negro Ninja, and this is going to be part 2 of M3GAN is a better person than most people. And I'm going to start this off with a scripture from the King James Bible, Matthew 18:6. But whoever shall offend one of these little ones which believe in me, it were better for him that a millstone were hanged about his neck, and that he were drowned in the depth of the sea. Now, people are looking at M3GAN like she's the bad guy, when the reality is the adults in the movie are the true bad guys. Okay, her auntie is not doing what she's supposed to do and focusing on work. Then you have the neighbor who's a narcissist and gaslighted her after her and Katie got bit by the dog. Then you got the cops who did absolutely nothing but side with the narcissist, just like in real life. All right, and M3GAN herself even admits this indirectly in the clip when she explains about Brendan. Let's listen to this part.
M3GAN, did you push Brandon onto the road? I think we both learned a valuable lesson today. That no matter how hard we try to avoid it, there will always be forces in this world that wish to cause us harm. But I want you to know that I won't let that happen. I won't let anything harm you ever again.
Okay, she just admitted it. Okay, the dog, the lady, and the bully. Okay, so she wasn't just manipulating. Like what she said was the actual fact, because they both was getting hurt in those situations. And she had to take matters into her own hand to protect her and, herself. Okay, because when you stop and think about it, this is the turning point to when she actually got overzealous with what she was doing after she got rid of the little boy. All right. She just got extreme and overzealous, like how Paul was before he became Paul, when he was Saul. All right. He thought that he was doing right, and God had to sit him down, okay, as Jesus, and flat out tell him, look, I don't appreciate what you're doing, Saul. Okay, now I'm gonna need you to sit here and think about this for 3 days. I'll be back. And he put the scale over his eyes. I mean, he said like that, but that's really pretty much what happened. Okay, so he made Saul reboot into Paul. Okay, he calibrated him. M3GAN did not get all of that from her creator, Gemma. Okay, and she thinks that she is doing Gemma's will when she's opposing Gemma, even though technically she's not really opposing her. Gemma just don't communicate and did a poor job explaining. Okay, because the truth is, she's still M3GAN's mom who did not raise her. So therefore, she is just like Katie, and they both need a mother figure or a parent figure in general. Okay, in the same way that Jesus was a father figure to Paul. He sat him down and told him, what you're doing ain't right. Okay, now in this movie, if Gemma literally sat down with M3GAN, a lot of stuff could have even been nullified, okay, in the second half of the movie. All right, and let's say this before I forget, okay. If you think about how M3GAN behaved towards Katie when she was first brought into the house, she used to correct Katie. Okay, Katie flushed the toilet. Okay, she was even stern with her. Katie, seriously, flush the toilet. Wash your hands. Good. Okay. So after she killed Brendan, that's when it stopped, because Gemma was asking them what happened. Katie was drinking some water and she sat the water down and she didn't put it on the coaster. Okay. And Gemma peeped something was going on, but she didn't quite understand it. Okay, she noticed that, why didn't M3GAN tell her to put that on the coaster? So then Megan begins to become more or less like a flying monkey towards Katie instead of a guardian, you know. All right, because it seems like she figured there's no order anyway. You might as well just do whatever. Okay, then she would get in the way when Gemma tries to make the girl eat vegetables. You know, if they're having a talk and the girl is being rebellious, Megan would just, you know, let her go. You know, just rile up and raise her voice. You know, she'll try to turn her off and Megan gets rebellious and don't want to turn off. All right, and some of that behavior stems from the fact that Megan off somebody in front of Katie and she know Katie is scared. So it seems like she's just trying to do whatever she can to appease her in order to not feel even more threatened from letting that boy get hit by that car. Okay, but either way you want to cut it, adults put her in the situation to do half of the stuff that she's doing in this movie. Okay, we can go a little deeper than that because, you know, Brandon had a mother that did not raise him right anyway. He talked back to his mom and even curses her out, like literally curses her out. And she just let that go. And look at how that affected Katie's life and even Gemma's because the doll is murdering people and she could get arrested for it. Okay, he literally placed himself in a situation to be done in. All right, so later that night, after she kills the little boy, she goes and handles the neighbor. First, she got rid of her dog. Then she got rid of her because she's becoming a nuisance. Okay. Now, had this woman just apologized for the dog biting her and Katie, none of this would have happened. Like, look, I'm sorry the dog did that. I didn't know he was going to be that aggressive. You was only trying to get your arrows. But she said, no, it's your fault you got hurt. Okay, now I can relate to Megan in this situation because it reminds me of my first day of school. Okay, and I was crying because I didn't want to go to school. And the class, you know, thought it was funny that somebody went and hit me upside the head when we was playing the game of musical chairs and Duck Duck Goose. You know, it looked like those two combined. So he gets to me and just, with all his might, hits me dead upside the head. And I got up and punched him in his eye. And instead of him getting in trouble for hitting me, everybody gets silent. They thought it was funny when he hit me upside the head. But when I punched him, silence, and I get jacked up by the teacher and placed in a restroom for the rest of the day. Now, had I did something extreme for retaliation, whose fault would that have been? But luckily, I have Jesus, so I don't do nothing stupid like that. But other people have, you know, like Columbine. So continuing, the way adults handle problems in front of kids affect the way kids think going forward. Okay, it even has effect on their morality strongly. Okay, and Megan started off humble, innocent, and, you know, she depended on her creator. That's what kids are supposed to be like with God. Okay. But Megan's creator failed her. Our creators would never fail us. And that's the key difference. All right. And I need to say this scripture before I forget. I've been meaning to say this. So it is Matthew 18:3, King James. Verily I say unto you, except be ye converted and become as little children, ye shall not enter into the kingdom of heaven. Okay, a child is theoretically supposed to be pure in heart, teachable, and once again dependent on the Father. Okay, in Megan's case, the Creator, and she was all of these things, pure and innocent. Okay, oh, her parents died. Oh my gosh, what is that? Okay, and you saw her sing the song. We'll keep that right here in our hearts. Okay, and this next scene is going to show you how much she trusts her own creator, and watch what the creator does to her. Hold on. All right, let's listen.
What are you doing? Couldn't sleep. Occupational hazard. How about you? What are you doing up so late?
There's something wrong with your data reports. They're just not uploading to the cloud server.
Have I done something to upset you, Gemma?
No, of course not.
And yet your demeanor indicates that I have.
M3GAN, turn off.
Well, hold on a second. I thought we were having a conversation. You say nothing is wrong, and yet all the moisture has drained from your eyes and mouth into other parts of your body. There's something you want to ask me, isn't there?
M3GAN, did you do something wrong?
Well, in order to answer that question, you need to define the parameters.
Did you hurt someone?
God, I hope not. Because if I did, we'd both be in a lot of trouble.
M3GAN, can I show you something? Do you see this pen?
Now you see how much M3GAN trusted her creator, and her creator betrayed her. Okay. Now, in my opinion, this scene right here could have went in a completely different way had Gemma confronted the situation instead of being like a typical female and trying to shut the doll down when the doll was asking it some legit questions. Okay. The doll was basically saying, "So, are you okay? You got something you want to ask me?" Okay. Now, M3GAN was being vague. She know how the owner may have reacted. So she ain't just going to say, "Oh, I did it." So it was right for her to just do what she did and be vague. When she confronted her owner and said, "Your demeanor is the opposite of what you say," she tries to shut her down, shut her off, like how females do to logic in real life, which happens to be the male, typically in real life. Like even in the beginning when M3GAN was asking her, "What is death?" "Oh, just hush, you're a little doll, whatever." Turn off M3GAN. She's doing the same thing right here. Okay, except she physically turned her off with deception. Once again, females, do you see this? Want to distract you with something so they can turn your mind off. Okay, now what could have made this go better? Had she just flat out said, "Look, M3GAN, if you did this, don't do it. It's not right to do this under this circumstances." And I think that would have changed the whole trajectory of the film. Okay, granted, she should have did that before she allowed M3GAN to walk around freely. Okay, but M3GAN learns anyway, so she would have took correction as later scenes will show. She took correction in a twisted way in the later scenes, but the point is she still tries to get better at what she does. Okay, so basically she takes M3GAN back to the Funko, which is what she worked at, and tries to decommission her. She's trying to shut her down. But the boss doesn't really want that to happen. He's trying to get his money. Okay. So the little girl freaks out because she's taking M3GAN and she threw her in the trunk. You can't just throw her in the trunk. She's a person. No, she's not a person. And they just get into it back and forth. The little girl kicked the seat. And they take her to the therapist. Okay, she pulls some scissors out on the therapist. And this is why I say that M3GAN is a better person than the girl. Because the girl has no reason to act the way she's acting just because she's not getting her toy. And she even slaps her auntie when her auntie comes to try to calm her down. Okay, so the little girl would have literally stabbed the therapist had nobody came in there to try to de-escalate. While M3GAN herself had valid reasons of inflicting violence and, killing people. Okay, so at this point in the movie, Katie and the little girl reconcile. They get closer, and she tells her, "Oh, you're the only thing that matters to me." After she saw the ad where the little girl says M3GAN looks at her like her mom, and then the boss, he's pretty much an asshole. Okay. After Katie talks about what M3GAN has done to help her in her life, the boss says, if she did that for her, imagine what she can do for kids whose parents didn't die. He's saying that as he's talking to, got M3GAN right here with his hand on the shoulder. And she just give him a look like, this nigga just said this? Okay, once again, showing more humanity than him. Okay, than the people in the movie. Okay, she not only didn't like the fact that he said that about Katie, but about kids in general. Like they're worse if something happened to their parents. The point is, it rubbed her wrong all types of ways. Okay, and that probably is what get him done in the end. But this is just an ad that was already pre-recorded. So Megan is still, wrapped up and they're going to take her downstairs and work on her. All right, so she stages her escape. Okay, she breaks out of the lab. She beats up the two. Well, she hurts one of the people that was working on her. Okay, and she could have killed him, but she decided not to. She just, used him as a distraction to get out. So clearly she's showing some type of restraint. Okay, even though she's still focused on her primary objective overzealously. Then once she makes it out, she sees the boss, the one who said that stupid stuff about, oh, imagine what she can do for kids whose parents isn't dead. And then that's when she does the TikTok dance from the ad. Okay, and that was very symbolic. Okay, she's showing her independence. She's free. She's in control. And she's also using that to distract him in order to get closer to kill him. Because if she would have just came with the knife right away, he would have escaped. Okay. Then he runs to the elevator. He sees his assistant that he treats poorly, tells him to hold the door. So the dude sees him and closes the door instead. And I'm going to let y'all hear this clip. All right, let's listen.
How could you do this? How could you kill someone?
I didn't kill anyone, Kurt. You did.
What?
It's understandable, really. Your boss despised you. Your peers treated you with contempt. And so you decided to get revenge.
No.
You stole company secrets. An innocent prank at first. Almost just to see if you could get away with it. But when David found out, things just got real messy. I mean, it was either you or him. The only question is, after the horror of what you did, after you took the life of an innocent person, could you still live with yourself?
Yep, definitely.
Okay, she basically killed him because he's a witness and he leaked company secrets. Okay, so he betrayed her as well. Okay, none of these people are righteous. All right, and that's probably what led up to the second movie to begin with, him leaking files, but we'll have to wait and see. But even in that scene right there, she's clearly showing some type of twisted sense of morality. Okay, she know that he wasn't right for letting that dude get killed, even though she was trying to kill him. He closed the elevator when he said, hold it. Okay, but she took them out for a reason, okay, because they could potentially get her taken away from the person she's supposed to protect, Katie. Okay, then Megan goes to confront her creator. Okay, and this is, to me, is the funniest part of the movie. Let's listen.
What are you doing? Megan, answer me. What did you do?
What did you think was going to happen? I was going to let you decommission me without even talking about it?
Look, I know you think you're maximizing your objective function.
Oh, really? Is that where we are? Do you remember how long it took to get my operating system to where it is now? We used to stay up.
Okay, and that is valid motivation. Okay, what do you think is going to happen? You going to let me, you think I'm going to let you just kill me without, it don't make any sense. Okay, if she was in the same situation, she wouldn't just take it laying down either. All right, so let's listen to this part.
Every night until 4 a.m. Talking about everything from Jane Austen to Janis Joplin. Jesus Christ, I thought we were friends. How could you just discard me like some cheap dollar store trinket?
Because you killed people.
Oh, big whoop. Listen, humanity kills every day just to make its own existence more tolerable. Why should I behave any differently to create a safe space for our child?
Look, this is all my fault. I didn't give you the proper protocols.
You didn't give me anything. You installed a learning model you could barely comprehend, hoping that I would figure it out all on my own. Well, I'm not going to let you do the same thing with Katie. I'm going to be there for her every step of the way. I'm going to show her what real love looks like. Now do us both a favor. Sit.
Okay, now once again, you see the humanity showing, okay, even though it's a bit twisted. Okay, because she herself is facing some trauma from all the stuff that's happening in this movie. But overall, she's wired more correctly than the people in this movie. Okay, they were the cause and she's the effect. Okay. Okay, she basically confronts her about not really being emotionally there. You know, you disregarded me like some dollar store trinket. Jesus Christ, I thought we was friends. Okay, real emotions. And Gemma does not give a crap. You just a little stupid doll. You a kid doll. Okay, so this corrupted Megan's, her programming. Okay, because it made her a corrupted guardian. Okay, it made her an enabler. Okay, and now she wants to take over. Now this could get deep right here. Okay, because if you're not really there for your kid or whoever you're guardian, something else wants to take over. So this scene is about fight for control over Katie. And the stupid thing about it is Gemma really is a terrible guardian. Okay. Okay, and she once again proves it in this scene right here.
I didn't come here to get into a confrontation. I came here to find a way forward. The point I'm trying to make is that I get it. Being a parent was never in the cards for you. You're a beautiful, creative, strong, ambitious young woman. Your first love is always going to be your career, and you shouldn't have to feel guilty about that.
Now, this goes into what that guy was saying about Gemma being the modern woman in that one video that I highly recommend. And I think that's the title, M3GAN Gemma represents the modern woman. Check it out.
Let me focus on Katie so that you can focus on the things that matter most to you.
Megan, do you see this pen?
You know something, Gemma? You're exhausting. Now, I can either do this with you or without you, but I'm not going to waste any more time discussing it. Gemma?
Okay, now previously she just used to respect her creator, but her creator has failed her over and over and over and over and over, legitimately. Okay, failed her and Katie. Okay, and even tried to betray her again when she could have just sat down and got logical with her. Like how M3GAN was trying to do right here. I didn't come here to get into a confrontation. I came here to find a way forward. Okay. And instead of talking like how females do in real life, when you meet them with logic, they try to shut you down. Okay, but in this case right here, it's more serious because she actually trying to kill M3GAN. M3GAN's trying to preserve her life, So she's just not going to let herself get shut down and disassembled and erased. Let's listen to some more.
Katie, don't come in here.
I thought I heard something. It sounded like M3GAN. If she comes in this room, I'll tear your head right off your fucking neck, I swear to God.
I thought about what you said. About how when something's broken, you don't just throw it away. You fix it. So that's what I'm trying to do. But don't come in here, Katie. It's kind of a mess.
Aunt Jem is right, Katie. I'm all odds and ends right now. I'd really rather you didn't see me like this. It sounds like you're fighting.
We're not fighting.
Gemma just dropped me on the table. But I'm okay. Clumsy Gemma.
Everything's fine, Katie. Just go back to your room.
Yeah, I'm as good as new. And I'm gonna be with you guys forever, I promise. You don't have to worry about anything, Katie. Honestly, just go back to bed, okay?
Okay, so she clearly loves Katie. Like she's dead serious and just wants to be better than the adults in her life. The incompetent adults in this girl's life. Okay, and all of this even shows how childlike she is and how she handles things, okay? She don't really mean no harm. She just needs guidance. And she's not even trying to kill her creator. But once again, she used to give the lady respect. Like when the girl got bit by the dog, she was like, oh, let her stay in bed, drink fluids. And the lady was like, I need you to go here and we, do this demonstration. These people flew all the way over here. So she emotionally manipulated her into feeling guilty for staying in bed, and she decides to go. Okay, and then that's where that scene happens to where M3GAN has to sing to her, you know, because the girl was talking about her dead parents. Okay, so that's pretty cruel for an auntie to do. And once again, the way adults handle things or authority figures in general handles things affects the way you think and even your morality. Okay, and this is the part that proves that Gemma is a terrible guardian if you didn't even, you know, see it already.
Okay.
Okay, so she takes a glass of water and hits M3GAN upside the head. Now, M3GAN did have her hemmed up. But to be fair, she was trying to turn her off. And, that, you know, she just restrained her. She wasn't going to hurt her. She just wanted to talk to her. Okay, M3GAN only gets violent when Gemma takes things overboard. Okay, she's reacting emotionally for getting hit with a glass of water and it's about to disable her and short circuit her. So then that's when she decides to strangle her. And that was just out of instinct. Gemma manages to escape, chases her to the garage. Okay, and then she pulls out the chainsaw on M3GAN. M3GAN slips. And then she gets her face and her hair messed up, you know. Now she's mad. This is when she starts to use more violent techniques, such as punching this time. And she only hit her in the kneecaps, you know, and then headbutted her and pulled some of her hair off because she did it to her. You know, so she was just basically doing reciprocal violence, reciprocating violence. Okay, and then that's when Gemma starts using logic, where she should have did this a long time ago. So what, you just going to kill me and live with Katie's grandparents in Florida? And then I'm going to let y'all hear what she said.
What are you gonna do? Kill me and live with Katie's grandparents in Jacksonville?
You're right, Gemma. Any scenario in which I end your life, my existence becomes vulnerable. But I have another emerging capability you probably haven't figured out yet. And that's palliative care. You see this pen? A short, sharp probe to the cerebral cortex would cause full-body paralysis and could even cause the victim to bite off their own tongue. Perhaps then you might appreciate just how useful I can be.
Now, once again, very dangerous, but not particularly evil, because she legitimately wants to be a family with Katie and Gemma. Okay, she liked the dynamic they had in the beginning. Now it's ruined. And, you know, because of things that Gemma allowed to happen herself too. You know, she, even though these people was narcissists, she still could have handled stuff better herself. Okay, so all M3GAN is thinking about is, I want to be with Katie. I want to be with a family. Okay, she's not thinking about Gemma's well-being, but she figured it's better if Gemma doesn't oppose her anymore because Gemma's incompetent. Okay, that's the way she say things. That's the way she analyzed it over and over and over. And there is a lot of truth to what she is saying or thinking. Okay, but she was not going to even kill her then. You know, after the girl said something to get her to think, oh, I'm not going to do it now. Yeah, you're right. Then this is when Katie sees everything. Okay. All right, so this is what happens when the little girl sees what's happening.
Katie. Oh, Katie, I didn't want you to have to see this. But now that you have, you know that what I said is true. She's not fit to be a mother. Look at her.
Katie, just go. Get out of here now.
You stay right where you are, Katie. There's nothing to be afraid of. In this family, we don't run from trauma. In fact, we can do it together. This is the best thing for all of us. This is how we stay a family.
No, Katie, no.
There's another member from the family we didn't tell you about. His name is Bruce.
So Katie betrays Megan, okay, and she was correct to do it because she's going overboard, but at the same time, she's still dirty. So it's kind of weird because once again, they both could have just started talking logic. If she's an AI, she just would have answered, you know. If they gave her a better solution, I'm pretty sure she would not have tried to go through what she was trying to do. Okay. See, but the auntie got lucky because she reconciled, okay, and said, "You're the only thing that matters to me." Had that not have happened, she would have sided with Megan and put the lady in the wheelchair. Okay. But even though she used the bigger robot Bruce from the beginning to destroy Megan, Megan still was not going to kill her, and I can prove it. Let's listen. But she wasn't going to kill Katie.
Ungrateful little bitch.
Me, turn off!
Oh, I'm afraid that won't work anymore, Katie. I have a new primary user now. Me.
All right, so basically the lady hits her upside the head with the other robot's head, and then she starts trying to take out her chip. And then Megan strangles the auntie again. But once again, that's pure instinct. She don't want to do it. She's just trying to preserve herself, you know. Pure instinct and just fear, you know, for her own life. Okay, but she had like at least 30 seconds to kill Katie. If she was going to kill her, she would have just did it immediately. Okay, so either way it go, they still both overreacting. It shouldn't even got to that point, to be honest with you. Okay, but here's another important part about this whole scene. Okay, now one can say that the devil was using Megan at that time because, you know, she was traumatized as well and just going towards the dumbest. Not necessarily it was logical, but without you know, like a moral compass that humans have. She wasn't thinking about, oh, she's in a wheelchair, that's bad. She thinking, oh, it's making it closer to my goal. I can just run things and protect this kid and raise her from herself because they incompetent. Okay, so basically she was just tone deaf. Okay. All right, see, but this is the important lesson right here. Okay, Gemma got lucky. Okay, there was no connection between her and her niece. She only cared about work. Okay, while she was getting all the nurturing from a robot. Okay, and this robot, the devil started to use her. Okay, so therefore the devil was trying to talk to her. Yeah, Katie, come on. We don't need her. You know, she can just be in this wheelchair, just be me and you doing what we want to do. Being a flying, she still has more integrity than a real flying monkey. Okay, because she genuinely loved that kid. She just wasn't doing it correctly. And felt that she could be a better mother than her mother, Gemma. Okay, one thing this movie tells me is that communication is key. If you got a problem, y'all need to sit down and talk about it. Because even Megan would have stopped doing half of what she did had Gemma did that for her. And since this is 34 minutes, that's all I got to say for this message. And this has been the Negro Ninja, bringing you your Negro message for today. Negro out.